Well, hello my chickadees on this, hang on, audio down, okay. On this windy morning, it is so windy out here today. When I arrived this morning, there were bits of broken branch and things lying on the path outside. And it is whipping around. Yeah, so you might even be able to hear it in the background. It is so strong. Okay, all right, first up. This is going to be a very short live stream today because I have a Father's Day event to get to over in Fitzroy, which is a bit of a distance from here, and I need to pick up my daughter on the way. So I am going to, what is my departure time? I think I need to leave here, like finish the stream by 11:15 is kind of my hard deadline. So, yeah, people like Tabraze who are watching this at some stupid hour in the middle of the night are going to appreciate an early finish so that you can get some sleep. All right. Crispian says, say hi to your dad for me and sis. Yeah, I will. I will. You may even get to see him next week. We'll see. We'll get to that in a second. But first, I can't forget this. I acknowledge the traditional owners of this land, the Whadjuk Noongar peoples. I pay my respects to their elders past and present, and to Aboriginal elders and peoples from other communities who may be taking part in this live stream today. So, 73 minutes remaining to install Home Assistant. Yeah, I am going to have to move it, aren't I? Wagon Load says it's only 8:03 p.m. here. Yeah, you are in a moderately sensible time zone. Where are we? What am I doing? I don't know. Okay, hang on. I've got the TTS up. TTS, I think, is working. So hopefully if anybody does anything on that, we will hear it. Good morning to Crispian. Dodgy Brothers is here. Stephen George, Mr. Fix-It 1952. Some call it fun. John Whips, Wagon Loads. Amanda is here too, cool. Sharky, I haven't actually looked back through the chat to see what was going on before I hit go. Lionel, thanks for coming along. Matt W, Jax Tech, Russell Rainey, Any Mules, Paul Gray, Tabraze, Grant Mazels is also here. Paul Schultz, all the way from SA.
Outside the box said, woot.
Yes, it's working. Good morning, evening, Tech Nebulous. Hey Jordan. There might be people who haven't appeared in the activity list yet, but I will see. Tabraze said I had a nap to prepare for this episode. All right, so before I get into it, in fact, no, what I will do is I'm going to start something. No. My plan has gone out the window. Let's start with leg kicks and then I want you all to do something for me. Go and subscribe to Austin's channel. I'm going to drop it in Austin's Creations. I'm dropping it in the chat right now. And I went searching for Austin's channel just a little bit this morning. And I couldn't find it. Even though you can see here that I am subscribed to Austin's channel. I went into my subscriptions and it didn't appear in there. I searched YouTube, like, okay, I am on the Austin's Creations channel right now. This is at Austin's_Creations. Let's see what happens if I search for Austin's Creations. Okay, I get this channel, which is not him. I get this channel, which is not him. And no, I don't. Like, see? What is going on here? So, I want you all to go and subscribe to Austin's Creations, and hopefully that will help it to actually appear. When you're explicitly searching for it, it still does not even appear. That's just annoying. Steven says already subscribed. Crispin says, sorry, couldn't subscribe, already subscribed. Yeah, so I bet that a bunch of you who are here are already subscribed to Austin's channel, but this just annoyed me. So, okay, I'm going to start something and then I'm going to give you a little bit of a backstory while it is happening. What I'm going to do is install Home Assistant. I bet there are people here watching right now who never thought this day would come. You thought that I would go to my grave having never installed Home Assistant. Well, actually I have installed Home Assistant in the past, but yeah. Oh, Jack's Tech said the underscore is breaking the search. It shouldn't be. Try searching without the apostrophe, says Scott. Okay. That, yeah. I understand what you're saying about searching without the apostrophe, but even so, it is Austin's underscore creations as the channel. If I, okay, I'm going to search without the apostrophe. Go. Still doesn't find it. It finds this other channel, which has 13 subscribers. It does not find Austin's channel. So, yeah. Anyway, the more people who sub to him, hopefully the more that will help to get around whatever is going on there. Go and do it, please. Thank you. So, all right, I am just going to get started on this, and then while the thing is copying, I'm going to get into the backstory. So, what I'm going to do is, I am going to do a quick installation of... Sorry, I'm being distracted by the sound of a noisy car pulling up outside. No, it's not related to this. Not related to me. Okay, so... whatever I do now, this installation is not going to be the final installation. This is going to be just a way of experimenting, and it's going to be like a throwaway so that I can mess around with it. I can screw up the configuration. I can add I can add devices and things, and know that this is a learning experience and that it's going to actually end up in a different installation somewhere after this. But I do want a proper installation of Home Assistant. And so what I've got right now, just sitting to my right, you can't see it unfortunately, I've got a Raspberry Pi 4 which is plugged into HDMI, being captured here so we can see its screen. It's plugged into Ethernet, it's plugged into my lab power supply so I can power it up, and I have an SD card in my computer so that I can do an installation onto it. So I'm going to run this on a Pi 4 and mess around with it. Ultimately, what I'm probably going to be doing is installing Home Assistant on a significantly more powerful computer, because I want to run local AI. I want to do all of the local voice assistant stuff. And a few months ago, I talked about ordering some Home Assistant add-ons for local voice assistants. I've got those devices sitting here ready to test, but I need some infrastructure to connect it all to. And so what I need is a computer which is fast enough to run the local ML models and do all of those sorts of things. So, Wagonloads asked, is a Pi powerful enough to support being an AI assistant? I don't think so. So, yeah, this whole exercise is just about doing a basic Home Assistant install and playing with it as a starting point, knowing that I'm going to be blowing this away and upgrading it at some point. So, what I have is a Pi 4 sitting on my desk. I have an SD card. The instructions say to write the image to your SD card using the Raspberry Pi Imager. And over here we have the Raspberry Pi software. So here is the download for Mac OS, and so you can grab it for Windows, Debian, Ubuntu, and stuff. So I'm going to basically follow the bouncing ball. Raspberry, I am opening this, and we will just do the simple case, direct installation, no Docker, anything like that. So, oh yeah, I do actually have, or I had until half an hour ago when I deleted it, I had a Docker image of Home Assistant on my Synology NAS from previous times I've been screwing around with it. So, Raspberry Pi device, I'm going to go for a Pi 4, and I'm going to go down to other specific OS, and Home Assistants, and Home Assistant, and Home Assistant, this one, 16.1 Pi 4, and this is to go onto the Pi 4. Choose storage, I'm going to stick it onto this one. So this is, I'll go back to that. So I've got a 128 gig micro SD card, which is currently plugged into my computer directly. So that is what I'm going to stick it into. And next will be erased. You want to continue? Yes. Preparing, unmounting, etc. What I really hope is that this is going to enable SSH by default, because otherwise I'm going to have to run around and get myself a keyboard, which I don't want to have to do. Yeah, allow. Do it. Do it. Okay, so... Okay, back to the chat. Where are we? James C. said, it's like searching for half a word. Same happens with file search on OS. So this is talking about searching for... Oh, okay, so Dodgy Brothers says, comes up when you search Austin's _creations. Yeah, I maintain that there is something strange going on with... I'm just going to move that out of the way. With this. Like, I know the name of the channel. It is Austin's _creations. Yes. If you search for Austin's creations, like, you shouldn't need to know. Like, if I search for Austin's _creations like that with no apostrophe, it's the exact channel name, like the handle of the channel. But why is it that, hang on. Yeah, I just removed the space. I'll add the space back in. But the same thing, oh look, no, Austin K Creations. It's surely any search mechanism that has anything to do with, like, oh, it's so long since I've worked on these things. Gone blank on what the terminology is. It's the association between the search terms and the matches. Look at this. We've got this one here, which is Austin's Creations with no space, and it matches. And here we've got Austin's Creations -K4N, and it matches. And this is Austin K Creations, and it matches. But the channel that is Austin's _creations does not match. Anyway.
Scott Miller said, Google knows what you really should be watching. Watching what you want is bad.
Yeah, that's right. They're trying to decide what we're going to watch. All right, so it has been written to generic mass storage class media. You can now remove it from the reader. Okay, so I'm going to pop out the card. So right here, this little thing now contains Home Assistant. So I'm going to stick it in the Pi 4 and kill that. And oh, Jack's Tech said if you want SSH, you'll need to add the .ssh file. Yeah, Crispian said, how do they manage to muck up these search algorithms so badly? This is the sort of thing that'll kill AI. Grant says, apostrophes are a pain with searches. My street name has an apostrophe in it. You do find sites with SQL injection vulnerabilities when starting to place orders, which you then find another seller. Yeah. Yeah, if you're trying to buy something online and an apostrophe breaks their SQL, their back end is probably has some major security holes in it, and you probably do not want your personal details being inserted into that database. It's just it's a breach waiting to happen. Although you don't need it, it will auto spawn a web server. Oh, okay, cool. So Jackstack said, if you want SSH, you'll need to add the .ssh file. Yeah, okay. I was only thinking of SSH because I was thinking of that from a configuration point of view. But if it auto spawns a web server, then we should be fine. Now, let's start on here. Hang on. Why did that go? I'm just gonna, okay, that camera works. That does not. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Okay, I am just going to turn that on. So I've just turned on the Raspberry Pi's power supply, and we are getting a boot. We can actually see it happening. Now, hopefully, this will let me see what the IP address is, or maybe I won't need it. Who turned out the lights? Yeah, I don't know, Dodgy. Who turned out the lights? Who turned out the lights? My only view of this is a very small preview window in OBS, so I can barely read any of this text that's coming up. Open your eyes. And, okay, waiting for the Home Assistant CLI to be ready. I can read that. Scott says, yeah, hang on. TTS should work. OTB, OTB. Waiting for supervisor to start.
Scott Miller said, Google is messing with your cameras because you've questioned the YouTube search algorithm.
Yeah, mess with this. Okay, system is ready. Use browser or app to configure. Okay. Amanda said, pip, picture in picture. No, so that you can see me. You don't need to see me. You do not need to see me. All right, I'm going to go to, I think it's just Home Assistant.local. Is that right? Site can't be reached. Refuse to connect. Okay. Maybe it is still in the process of booting. Maybe it is that I have to explicitly disallow SSL. Let's try that. No, that doesn't work. Okay, maybe I should start reading docs. Alright, so insert, do that, boot, access. Oh, it's 8123. Alright, here we go. This may take 20 minutes or more. What? There you go, it's up, port 8123. Yeah, read the screen, it tells you. I can't really read that screen. It's postage stamp size. So right now, you are seeing this screen capture happen full screen. Like you can see the whole thing. I actually can't see it because I don't have a monitor plugged into this Pi. What I'm doing is running that HDMI into the ATEM, and yeah, let's do show details just for the fun of it. Yeah, so I am running HDMI out of the Pi into the ATEM, which is capturing this video, and then streaming it out through OBS. But the only way I can see it is the little preview window on OBS, and it's small. So yeah, it is tiny. I can, I sort of lean towards the screen and squint and I can just make it out. I can see that there is a green, there's a green prompt with a flashing cursor, and I can't read what the prompt is. It might be HA, that would make sense if it was Home Assistant. I can read that it says system is ready, use browser or app to configure. Tabray said, I thought using .local is no longer recommended for homelands. Maybe, maybe not. What I will probably do is, once this is up and running, I will set up some real stuff. So, in fact, if I go back to this now, you will you will be able to see what's going on. So I went to homeassistant.local 8123 and it just said setting up. Read our vision, join our community, download our app. Downloading the app could be useful. Okay, so while that is doing its thing, let me go on a very brief and very mild rant. Okay, this rant is about the evils of capitalism and the inequitable distribution of wealth and the yeah, specifically this use case. Yeah, sorry, I was just reading chat. And and the way large corporations, specifically Amazon, integrate all of their different offerings in a way that is very problematic. So okay, what happened was, all right, I'm going to open up something, node red, float that. Okay. Is it opening? Is it opening? Node red. Yes, it is. Okay, so this is my local Node Red installation. It's just loading at the moment. Dashboard. So this thing is most of the logic of how I've been running stuff around the lab since I moved in here. And I've got different things like conveyors, status screen. So this is stuff that gets displayed up on a wall-mounted monitor, debugging, dashboard, and then I've got a whole lot of other things I won't go into. But this particular one, this dashboard, this is what I use to link things like She Who Shall Not Be Named and the controls off my phone and those sorts of things to outputs. So you can see here, these are MQTT topics and these are publications. For example, multimeter 1. To turn on multimeter 1, which is the bench multimeter that's on my desk here, I do a publication to this topic, which is Z-Wave, and then that's the power board and the specific power socket, and it's setting a value. So I can turn power to the multimeter on and off using that MQTT thing, and there's an on message and an off message. There's logic in here. There are control panel items here, so that, well, dashboard items. So this is how I use my phone to turn things on and off. This is the issue. This is what has led to this whole thing today. This is a link between the voice assistant who shall not be named and Node Red. Now, on the right, if I bring this in so that you can see it, this is Alexa Home. I said it and it didn't wake up, so that's good. All right, so create an account and declare some devices here. So I'm just going to open that, and this is the read here for response to email from Amazon about school shutdown. Yeah, so okay, I haven't actually read this. This is interesting. So the if I click on devices, I'm going to open that in a new tab because I want to keep this one open. So these are devices that I have declared in this thingy majigamy. So for example, the swamp, you can see down the bottom here. if the swamp comes up as an object in node red, if I come all the way over here, oh, it doesn't matter which one. I was going to find the swamp specifically, but it really doesn't matter. I'm just going to pick one. Okay, hot air, this'll do. I open this, you can see that there should be a big list of devices here, and they are all gone. This integration has stopped working. So I can no longer, so I have never actually, apart from a couple of things for light switches for this front office, light switch for the clean room, one for the factory, since I moved in here, I have not had to go to the trouble of installing light switches or touch panels or anything like that, because I have just controlled everything by voice. All of the bench equipment, all of the lighting, like the air compressor, I turn that on and off, just voice control, or through my watch, because I've got a watch with Amazon. I'm going to use that as the equivalent term, with Amazon integration, so that I can do it like a Dick Tracy watch. I can just press the button on my watch and speak to it, and I can turn things on and off. So that's how I have been controlling everything around here all of this time, and it is now broken. This actually broke that this has actually thrown me, because there are two different things here. I did not even know that there was this issue, and this is saying it will stop working on November 1st, 2025. So this is an additional reason to do exactly what I'm doing, which is installing Home Assistant and switching to local voice. So there are many reasons for switching to local voice, like privacy and all that sort of stuff. So what this is saying basically is that there is a sunset date when Amazon looks like they're going to be causing problems for this integration, and it's going to be broken. That is not actually why my integration is broken right now. It's not why, if I come in here and I click for this big list of devices, there should be dozens of devices in there, nothing comes up. The reason, and this is the thing that pissed me off, the reason is when I set up this integration originally, I had to create an Amazon account, obviously, in order to set up the voice assistant who shall not be named. And I gave the default location was US. And the reason for that is that this skill only works if you are in the US zone. So what you have to do is make sure that your Home Assistant voice device is set to a US location, and then it works. And last week, when was it? I can't remember. It was approximately a week ago, little bit less than a week ago, during the week sometime. I wanted to read a book. I had just finished reading, hang on, it is Abyss Beyond, I just got to find it. Not that any of you care about this, but anyway, I had just finished reading book 1 of the Chronicle of the Fallers. So I had just read The Abyss Beyond Dreams. I have the hard copy edition of this, like the actual physical book, and I took it with me on the diving trip. So I read a bit of it there, read a bit of it after getting back, finished it, and I wanted to continue. And the sequel is, or part 2 of the trilogy, the joke being that there is no part 3. So when Peter Hamilton started writing this, he planned it, he structured it as a trilogy, and then he re-split it to turn it into a duology or whatever. So I wanted to read Night Without Stars, and I didn't want to have to order the paperback. And the paperback, they were going to charge like $100 for it or something. So I went into Kindle on my phone and I ordered this book, and it said that it would change my region, my Kindle region, to Australia from the US. And without thinking about what the implications were, I said yes. And then my entire Amazon account has been switched over to Australian zone, the Australian region, and instantly all these integrations broke. And now I can't change it back. So I have tried changing my Amazon profile back to a US location, but to do that, I have to have a valid US physical address. And maybe there is a way around that. Maybe I can just fake an address or something, use some US address service. But it's one of those things where this was the final straw that made me say, screw you, I am not going to be dependent on this system anymore. I am going to get off this and use an alternative. So, Mike says, love the writing of Peter F. Hamilton. Yeah. I got to know him through the Red Mars, Green Mars, Blue Mars trilogy, which I really enjoyed. Create my smart home. Okay. Or restore, or Home Assistant Cloud. Okay, create my smart home. Let me get started by creating a user account. Is this creating an account on my local installation, or is there some Home Assistant thingamajigamy? I'm going to put in my real name. Username, I don't use that. I do that, and then, all right, let's not do this in the public. I'm going to generate a random string because I use a unique random string for every single password. Oh, okay. So I have previously done this. Okay, my browser has remembered something, but that is because I would have done this through when I was messing around probably a couple of years ago. Create account. Yeah, save. Home location. Oh, so many opportunities for me to dox myself here. Okay, I am going to pull this down off here, and I'm going to go to this. I'm going to search for addresses and see if I can find it. OpenStreetMap, what is it doing? Searching address. Oh, it's found it. Nice. Yeah, that one will do. That address, and what is that? Sorry, I'm doing stuff that you can't see because I don't want to totally dox myself. So I'm just going to, okay, I've got past that now. So I can bring this back into view. All I did was set my location. Share anonymized information. Well, I do like the fact that this is opt-out. It's an opt-in thing. It's opted out by default. Includes information about your system, basic analytics. Yeah. Usage, details of what you use with Home Assistant. Yeah. Total number of data counts containing total number of data points. How much of this do I want to share? Details of what you use with Home Assistant. I kind of want, yeah, be careful with the dashboard showing private stuff, says Tabraze. Yes, I am going to be careful about that. Statistical data, yeah. I kind of want to be helpful to the Home Assistant project. Diagnostics, no, I'll skip that for now. We found compatible devices. Okay, so some have been, Synology DSM, Thread devices, WLED, Yale Access Bluetooth. That is my front door lock. If this has already found my front door lock, that is really cool. All right, finish. Let's see what it does. WLED. I've got a few WLED installations around here for things like the LED strips along the. That's got my own custom firmware. I've got WLED in the server rack. I've got it around the door. So I'd be surprised if it hadn't found a few WLED installations. So, cloudy, forecast, home, so 17.9, 63%, yeah, that sounds about right. Unknown what? This is, what is unknown about me? So anyway, my rant. Scott says, do you realize that the location of the lab is public information already? Something about inviting people to barbecues. Yeah, it's kind of semi-public. The barbecue page is not linked from anywhere. I just provide it on request. And yes, I know, it probably is indexed. It's one of those things where if someone was determined to find my current location, they probably could figure it out. It's been disclosed on previous live streams and different things, but what I do basically is not be obsessive about hiding it. It's not like I've got, a whole lot of OPSEC around my location being secret, because it's different to when I was doing all of this from home. This is like a place of business. I'm actually in an office right now, in a factory, and I have customers and suppliers and things coming here. It's not a totally secret location, but I don't just list it for no particular reason. So that's all it is. Now, if I clicked on map, I bet that would show my location. Energy, okay. Grid consumption, blah, blah, blah. Overview. Now, how do we go about messing around with devices? But does it create a home zone based on the address you set up at the start, which would go? Show. Oh, okay, it says dodgy. It's not the Batcave. Settings. Okay, settings. Let's go into settings and start bringing in some devices. So one update, WLED firm, one update. Is that saying that the firmware on the device can be updated? If so, that would be pretty friggin' cool. Oh, hang on. I've got to just reply to this. Whoops! No! I think I just nearly doxed myself. Nobody pause that. I just had to reply to a message from my sister because, this is in relation to arrangements for the Father's Day lunch that we are going to this afternoon, which is why I have to be out of here at 11:15. Okay, cool. So notifications, right? So if Home Assistant can handle things like pushing updates to WLED, that would be nice. Update it, so push update already. Okay, I will push update. Update. So it's saying install 15.0, available 15.1. WLED firmware. I wonder if that is the one that's on the server rack. That's my guess, because I think right now that is the only WLED device that is powered up. And I can see it from here, which means that if I mess around with it from here, I'll be able to verify, and then hopefully I can just stick a like a proper name on this, rename this to be like server rack or something so that I can see. It can also push updates for ESP home. Okay, Wagon Light says, only problem with making your location public it is info power company scammers can use to fool you into giving your account number. Okay, for when they do social engineering attacks, because they can sound legitimate because they know your address. Settings, devices, and services integrations. Recommend MQTT, Wyoming protocol, hacks when you have time to explore. So some call it fun. Yes, MQTT, absolutely. 4 seconds ago, let's have a look at what this is. Icon. Is there an icon for LED? What about for LED strip? LED strip variant. That looks kind of cool. MTID, WLED firmware. I don't know what any of that stuff is. Don't have any labels. Yep. I'm going to have to explore a whole lot of this stuff. Voice assistants. Yes, that's going to be a fun thing to play with. And name, I'm going to call this server rack LEDs, even though I am not actually even sure that that's what they are. If I come to over LED, I'm going to turn it off. Maybe it is not that one, because when when I did that, the LEDs did not turn off. Okay. Settings. Let's just play around with some more settings. Now, so some call it fun said settings, devices and services integrations. Devices and services integrations. Okay, so back up Bluetooth. I wonder if the reason that it has found my Yale access lock, in fact, I'm going to try this. Add offline key. Okay, enter the key with lock address. You should be able to cloud integration while the lock is in Bluetooth range. All right, that's going to take some messing around, I think, to do that. Also, I think TTS is down. Oh, maybe. Let's see. Hang on. I'm going to go into TTS and reload it and see what happens. Ended. It thinks, yeah. TTS thinks the stream ended. I hope it hasn't. Don S says, hi John, all back from Father's Day brunch. Which reminds me, yeah, Nat W, message was retracted, said, WLED is the superhouse sign. It is, it's behind me. Did you see that? Like, did it change? I didn't even notice. I'm going to try turning it off. And there we go, it turned off. Okay. So what I'm going to do is go into, like if I go into this and change this name, I'm going to call, why is the name not set here? And I already set it previously. I'm going to set it like that, update, WLED, superhouse sign, and off and on. Preset. Okay, so chaser. Yeah, okay. That'll do. Playlist. I have no idea what a playlist is, but what I want to know is why, when I set it previously, because I had set the here we go, WLED, one device. I had set this to be, hang on, and why is the name not set here? This will now be the third time that I've set a name. I'm going to say Superhouse Sign. Enable device, yes. And 23 entities. What is this? Oh, okay, all of the different things. So I think this is one of the reasons. I have played around with Home Assistant in the past, and one of the reasons that I got pissed off with it was its opaqueness in terms of its configuration. And the fact that weird things happen, like, okay, I now have a device which I've named in here. Oh, Superhouse sign. Okay, so maybe that and that are two different things. Maybe it's the name of the thing within the thing. Maybe WLED in general is now called Superhouse sign and it should be the entity within it. Yeah, it's just the strangeness of the hierarchy and lack of explanation of what these things are. All right, so this I should not... WLED is add main control event with single LED segment. I don't care. I don't know what that means. Superhouse sign area. Ooh, okay, so I can define areas. I am obviously not doing this in a very logical way. There is probably a sensible approach to setting this up where I do something like define areas first and then define objects within the areas or classes of object or something like that. Yeah, there are devices and entities, says Paul. You named the entire server Superhouse sign. Should remain WLED, so some call it fun. Yes. Yeah, but that was not clear. So this service down here, oh, my face is in the way, but this service down here is called WLED still, and it's got one device within it. So if I go into WLED, it is still called WLED there, with a device in it called Superhouse sign. But if I come back in here, or maybe that is the entity and not the service, or maybe that's the entity and that's the server. No, sorry, that's the entity and that's the service. Don't know. Until you restart it, okay. WLED is the integration. Okay, so there's an integration, and then there's a service, and then there's an entity. Is that the hierarchy that I'm looking for? Devices and services. All right, let's try adding some things. Username, do I want to set up NAS1? Yeah, I do. But let's start by going to adding an MQTT integration. MQTT, because that'll probably expose a a huge amount of stuff. Okay, use the official Mosquito MQTT broker add-on or manually enter the MQTT broker connection details. Either of those could work. I don't know what the difference is. Use the official Mosquito MQTT broker add-on. I mean, I know what the broker connection details are. If I just give it broker connection details, what does it do? Does it use the broker add-on? I don't know. Not self-explanatory. So, I'm just going to install the add-on and see what happens. Yes, I know I'm treating this in a very cavalier way because I do not expect that this is going to be the final installation. As I said before, what I'm doing now is just poking it to see what happens. Paul Schultz says, second option allows you to connect to another MQTT. Yeah, okay. I do not want to be running MQTT. I don't want to be running a broker on this. I want to be connecting to the existing broker. So, that's what it should have said. That dialog should have said, option 1. Yeah, it says create a configuration for Mosquito MQTT broker. So I'm going to get rid of that. Delete. Yes, delete. Now back to settings and add integration. MQTT. Oi, why did that not work? MQTT and MQTT. It says use the official MQTT broker add-on. Okay, so that is creating a broker. It's not connecting to a broker. Yeah, wording on that is crap. Please enter this field. Hostname or IP address of the broker. Okay, that's my local 1.1.185 port, username, blah. No, it's neither of those. So I'm going to do this off stream. I've got to look up the password. I will pull it off screen in a second while I do this. And because it's okay, I'm going to pull this off screen and put in the username and password for my broker. Which is another crazy random string. Create a configuration, do that, and bring this back. All right. So this is my local broker. Add MQTT device. Don't know. So let's see. Tasmoda. Yeah, discovered. Add. Do you want to set up Tasmoda? Yes. Generic Tasmoda, device Tasmoda, area. It's okay, so it's found a whole lot of generic Tasmoda devices. I just don't know which one is which. So these are, yeah, there will be many. In fact, I would expect there would be more than this. Oh, maybe not anymore. I used to have far more Tasmoda devices. Yeah, that could well be. But I've got no idea what each one of these is. So I'm going to have to go through and work all of those out. So these are the Tasmoda devices I currently have running. Okay, added those. I am going to, what am I going to do? All right, I am going to add my Synology NAS, which once again, I'm going to do off stream. And that is another random string password. Port, submit, verify, use SSL, yes. And just adding, we'll see if it connects to the NAS. So maybe I should be more methodical about this, like add one integration, find all the devices, make sure they are configured, and then move on to the next one. I'm doing this in a very shotgun approach of just add all the integrations, add all the devices, and then figure out what's going on. Did it find your parts bin humidity sensors? Oh, TTS, yeah, TTS does seem to be broken at the moment. I've reloaded the TTS thing. Oh, no, it's back. Okay. TTS is back. I've just reloaded again. It is sitting there spinning its wheels on this. So it is trying to connect to the Synology NAS and it is spinning and spinning. So it found that the NAS is on the network. Oh, it found its IP address. Invalid authentication. That is not invalid authentication. I'm gonna try this. Oh, okay. I think I see what's going on. That and that. Logging in there. Doing another attempt. I think that was me screwing up. I think I copied the wrong password out of the list, out of the random string. You need a Home Assistant restart TTS button. Yeah, well maybe that can be done. It'll be sending a reload to the browser window. I fixed after you said and then time went by lol. Oh, okay, so Mitchell is here. Hey, Mitchell. I don't think I said hello to you previously. So, hello, Mitchell. Ooh. It's still spinning on trying to connect to the NAS. Steve and Steph must be close to a nervous breakdown. Always. Oh, Don S says, got here late. What install method are you doing? This is... hang on, update password? No, don't update password. Oh, hang on. Synology backup location. What is this? Shared folder.
Mitchell R said, you can link to TTS server from HA, and you could control things with events.
Ah, very cool. All right, I'm going to move this off screen before I click this drop down button. Home server, because I just didn't want to reveal. So Synology DSM backup location looks like Home Assistant can handle backups. Will be created automatically if not exist. HA backup home. Yep. All right. I do want to back up the. Yeah. So if Home Assistant can use the NAS to back up its configuration, that is kind of cool. So I'm telling it to do that. It's being very slow. Like whenever it's interacting with the Synology, it is super slow. Sorry, I've just got to... yeah, we've got this ongoing organization thing. That message was my daughter just saying that she's probably not coming to the event, the family event. All right, so NAS 1, yeah, and then it's got all the disks in the NAS, NAS, etc. Surveillance station, NAS. Okay. Skip and finish. If I skip, what does that mean? Does it just mean that... okay, I'm going to add an area. I'm going to say... I wonder if I should add the server rack specifically as an area. Or should I add... Okay, for those of you who have messed around with... who have messed around with Home Assistant, what is the best practice in terms of creating areas? Should it be something like the room? And I think that's traditionally what it would be. It would be like kitchen, lounge, bedroom 1, bedroom 2, that sort of thing. Or I have a feeling that... So what I expect to do is I will create an area called clean room or cleanish room or whatever, and that's where things like the lights for the cleanish room and all the different devices that are in there will be grouped together. But I think it may actually be worthwhile to create an area for the server rack, because there's a bunch of stuff in the server rack and it is like an area of itself, of its own, which includes, yeah. Oh, okay, so infrastructure stuff on server rack is good to avoid those getting turned off. Okay, some call it fun said, later on you'll be able to say, turn off all the lights in the office, so infrastructure stuff on server rack is good to avoid those getting turned off. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to make an area called server rack, and that is going to be kind of an abstraction from, I'm just wondering if there is like a server rack type icon. No, there is not. How about a server icon? That'll do. That looks kind of like a server network. Yeah, that'll do. Floor, just floor, that'll do. Create. So I'm going to, yeah, I think server rack is a reasonable exception because it's kind of like an area inside an area. This is annoying to have to do this, but anyway, if I don't screw this up too much. So I'm kind of half being sensible about what I do with setup here, but trying not to be too fixated on it so that if I make mistakes and I want to do a clean start and set all this up from scratch, I can do it without feeling too bad. All right, Synology DSM. Ooh, look at this. I've got a whole bunch of stuff on the overview now. I've got a whole lot of unnamed Tasmota devices. So what I could do to find what is just start turning stuff on and off. So I've got server rack, I've got surveillance station home mode. What I would probably want to do is set up some kind of a dashboard that has just a subset of these devices in them. Something that, so we've got Tasmota. Ooh, look at this. These ones have got dew point, humidity, temperature. So these are Tasmota devices with an SHT something on them. Those are environmental sensors. Over here, more Tasmota. I've got gas, PMS. Oh, these are the particulate matter. This is, I'm pretty sure that this is the air quality sensor. Yeah. Ooh, you can toggle each Ubiquiti Ethernet port through Home Assistant now too. Oh, okay, so adding a Ubiquiti integration could be kind of cool. Sensor Tasmota analog MQ20 unavailable. Yeah. Switch, light, Tasmota. So it's grouped these different Tasmota things together. I don't know why, but I am sure that will become clearer at some point. So we've got Tasmota 2. Those groupings have been created on some basis, maybe versions of Tasmota, I don't know. All right, back into settings. Devices and services, this is fun. Shelly Pro 4PM, let's add that. Do you want to set this up? Yes, it is not battery powered. It's actually in the switchboard. So that is, oh, okay. So do I create another area for the switchboard? This is for things like DIN rail mounted power control devices. So there is a distinction here. There is the area that is being controlled by the device, and there is the location of the device itself. I think that I am going to create an area called switchboard.
Some call it fun said. Hard stop 10 minutes.
Yeah, well, my hard stop has actually just been extended because of that message that came in. I don't have to pick up my daughter now. I can just go straight to the event, which means I can leave at 11:30 and still be fine, have plenty of time. Area it is controlling would be my call. Yeah, so I am not going to put any area on these things yet. I'm going to just leave them for now. Shelly Pro 4PM, switch 3, switch 2, switch 1, switch 0, and then the overall device. Because this is a 4-channel Shelly device which is mounted in the switchboard, and it's controlling different things around the factory and monitoring their power. The location of the device is not related to the location of where the things are. So I'm just going to leave that for now. Overview. Okay, and now we've got Shelly. Oh look, we've got power coming up on these different things. So what I need to do is figure out which of those channels is doing different things and put appropriate labels on them. All right, back to settings. What? Oh, one update. Oh, okay, so I can update the Shelly firmware from here too. That is cool. All right, devices and services. PlayStation Network. I can, so my PS5 is upstairs. Let's see. To obtain your log into your PlayStation account. Yeah, I'm not going to do this right now, but that's actually kind of funny that PlayStation Network integrates with Home Assistant. Google Translate speech to text, Home Assistant Supervisor, backup, Matter. What Matter device do I have in here? Matter integration entries. Download. No, don't know. Maybe the integration is there, but it doesn't have any devices. MQTT, radio, meteorology, yeah, Raspberry Pi power supply checker, because this is running on a Raspberry Pi. Shelly shopping list, Sun WLED, Thread, Tasmoda, Synology DSM. Okay, let's see what other devices, what other integrations we can add. What is suggested? What I should be able to do, yeah, this is a very big list. A very, very big list. What I should be able to do is integrate with most things through MQTT. I only just got down to B. Yeah, anyway, I could scroll down through there for ages. What I should be able to do, what have I got in MQTT? It's got this, listen to a topic. Okay, this is where things are going to, oh, actually, yeah, okay, sorry. What was going through my head was integrations, but I can, because I have, no, back to this. What it hasn't found is the Z-Wave integration. Okay. What I'm going to do is check whether there is a Z-Wave to MQTT integration, or do I do it through start a configuration wizard for Z-Wave. Yeah, so I think this will be if there is a Z-Wave device which is directly plugged into the Raspberry Pi. Okay, so the way I currently have my Z-Wave integrations working is that I have another Raspberry Pi which is somewhere, it's hanging off the front of the rack at the moment, which has a USB Z-Wave stick. It's got one of those AOTech Z sticks plugged into it. I'm running Raspberry Pi OS on it, and in fact I can show you this. I'm going to bring it up. I will get it off here, zwave.local, and is it going to load? So I can't be reached. Come on. Yes it can. Yes it can. Try harder. Why isn't zwave.local loading? Z-Wave. Come on, load. There is some problem with loading it. 8091. Yeah, port 8091. This is what I get. I was wanting to show you the Z-Wave integrations on this. So what I've got is the Raspberry Pi OS, and then I've got Z-Wave to MQTT running on it. And what that does is use the USB stick to communicate out to the mesh network, and it links that to the MQTT broker. So all of my power control devices around the place are controlled using MQTT, but I probably don't need to do that anymore. So Andrew says, I manually publish auto discovery stuff for MQTT to devices that don't do it themselves. Then they just show up in Home Assistant. Ah, yeah, cool. 700, 800. There is Node-RED you can install and it will be able to see all those entities, as some call it fun. Aha, nice. Let's do that. Let's do that. Add integration. Node-RED. Node. Not Linode. Ah, hang on. Add integration. Select brand. Node. Red. Why brand? Why is it saying brand? Device brand. Okay. Devices, entities, helpers. Oh, it's not an integration, it's an add-on. Okay, so where do I find add-ons? Devices, entities, helpers. Where are add-ons? Settings. Add-ons here. Okay, cool. Search add-ons. Add an add-on store. Here we go. Node-RED. Ooh, Node-RED. Install. Yeah, so what this will do is make the Home Assistant links to those devices dependent on Node-RED, when it's probably not really necessary. A whole lot of stuff that I have in Node-RED at the moment could end up being moved into Home Assistant directly. But this will be a way to see some devices at least. Yeah, TTS does not seem to be catching up. I'm going to reload TTS. Jack's Tech said it installs a new Node-RED server on the HA server. Oh, well that's no good. And then you get hacks. Okay. Yes, move the Node-RED stuff into HA, says Don S. Seeing Don S reminds me, this is very, very important. Very important. Next week is barbecue week and Don is going to be here. So, and then you can port the existing flows across, says Jack's Tech. Okay, so all the flows end up being moved onto this device instead of it connecting to an existing Node-RED installation. It runs its own Node-RED installation. Yeah, Scott says, hey, Home Assistant is much like Windows. Build everything in and make you do everything their way. Yeah. Donna said Z-Wave JS integration. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I was not wanting to port flows across, particularly considering this is still my screw around experiment installation of Home Assistant, not my actual final installation, which I'm going to have to do on a much more powerful computer, I think. Excuse me. So, what do I want to do? Start on boot. Is there a way for Home Assistant to connect to an existing Node-RED installation that is running remotely? Tabraze says, I'm not sure I like Node-RED inside HA. Mitchell says, my PC is balked, TTS coming and going with timeouts. Sorry, SSD failure in the works, I think. Oh no. Ooh. That's rough. I hope it's okay, Mitchell. Yeah, so TTS is currently not working. I will not reload the page because I don't want to put additional stress on your computer. I didn't realize that this was dependent on your local computer for it to be working. I thought this was running in an entirely cloud-based system. So, I don't want to be messing around with your computer. Yeah. What am I doing? Okay. Playing around. Install in your Node-RED server. Install Home Assistant plugin, says Mitchell. Right. That's what I want. That's what I want. Where were we looking at it? Z-Wave. I had it open. I had my, did I close my Node-RED installation? Node-RED. Here we go. Opening Node-RED again. Okay, so Donna says, I run my Home Assistant OS on bare metal HP 290 Slim 9th Gen Intel desktop. Yeah, okay, so install. What I think I'm probably going to do is have a moderately decent computer in the rack, in the server rack, and that's what I'm going to be using for running my Home Assistant on. My PC is basically a server, lol, never switches off. That was Mitchell's comment. Should be fine. I got it. In your Node-RED server, install Home Assistant plugin. Okay, where are we? Now, I want to go to configuration, manage palette. Is it in here? Install search modules. Home. Is this where it is? Home Assistant. Node-RED contrib Home Assistant WebSocket. Node-RED integration with Home Assistant through WebSocket and REST API. Virtual contribs do stuff in Node-RED. No custom hardware. Contrib Home Assistant. So that one was last updated 7 years ago. This one was updated 1 month ago. 3,000 installations. That is probably the one that I want. Proxmox, yes, this is the way. What am I doing? Install, yes, okay, install. Oh, I've got a cough again. So, my general feeling here is that what I'm probably going to want to do is remove the reliance on Node-RED for the Z-Wave devices and connect the Z-Wave stick directly. This is going to be a big configuration thing. I have so many things controlled through Z-Wave at the moment, and yeah, moving all of this on is going to, nodes added, okay, clues. Moving all of this over, Home Assistant entities, update config, I don't know if I actually need any of those. If discovery is enabled in your Z-Wave server, then all the devices should just show up under MQTT in Home Assistant. Good question. I think it is. Right now, I can't actually load my Z-Wave gateway, which is annoying. I don't know why that is. It's just being weird. It's a Raspberry Pi, which is not really doing anything much else. So it should be quite capable of just acting as a little Z-Wave to MQTT gateway, but it seems to be struggling. So I'm going to have to come back to that. So messing around with this today is just the, is really just the start. This is obviously going to be a big, long, drawn-out process of figuring out how to get all of the devices onto here and creating a dashboard and name. What is Garage? And why is it idle? What is it? server rack, garage. And why is it a video or an audio? Download snapshot. That is weird. I don't know what's going on with that. Yeah, so firstly, getting the devices into here and figuring out what they are, and then giving them labels, setting up areas. Let's set up a couple of areas. Areas, labels, and zones. Okay, bedroom. I don't have a bedroom here, so how about I delete this one? Delete bedroom. There is a kitchen-ish area down the back, but I'm gonna, will I leave it? Yeah, I'll leave it. Kitchen. Yeah. What of these? These are not particularly nice. That'll do. Yeah, they're not particularly nice icons. Floor, ground floor, yeah, save. Kitchen, living room. I don't have a living room here. So let's rename this one to lab. And that's going to be the front. Is there a laboratory? Is there an office icon? Not really. Oh, there's a chair. Okay. There's a chair icon, that'll do. So I'm going to call this the lab, the front room. Server rack. Okay, then I'm going to add a device, create area, cleanish room, and what am I going to search? What am I going to use for an icon for that? How about workshop? No. I don't know. Oh, air purifier. Maybe I could use a pure air icon for it. That'll do for now. Forward march. 8 minutes remaining, yes. There's... I do still have a hard stop, but it's just delayed by 15 minutes because I was allowed... What I was doing was saying if I left at 11:15, that would give me time to go past the old super house where I no longer live and pick up my daughter and then go on to the event, which is all the way over the other side of town. But I don't have to detour to pick her up now, which means that I can leave a little bit later. I do have to still leave though in 7 minutes. All right. Lab, create area. Okay. Name, swamp. That is going to be a workshop. Why is there no icon for workshop? Tool, toolbox. What about, is there an icon for like a drill press or something? No. Well, it needs a better icon set. How about a spanner? Yeah, that'll do. A wrench. Although that's normally for settings, so I don't really like that. What about, yeah, did I search for hammer? I think I did. No, that's not the search thing. Is there a hammer? Yes, there's a hammer. That will do as the icon for the swamp, which is the mechanical workshop area. Don't forget to look out for the partial eclipse. What? Don S. See you next week when I arrive at 11 AM and Uber 1 hour to the lab. That is a long Uber ride. Yeah. Mr. Fixit says, I just got a 12 disk storage shelf and an HP ProLiant Mini Gen 8 for my new home lab. Ooh, fancy. Now, what other areas do I want? There is the loading dock area, but I consider that kind of part of the swamp. So in terms of major areas here in the office, we've got the front area right here where I am, which is the lab/office. There's the cleanish room, There is the swamp, which is the mechanical work area, and there is the toilet, kitchen sort of area down the back, which can be this. So that covers everything, and the server rack, which is where it thinks all the devices are right now. So some of these devices I will need to move into places like the lab and the swamp, because they are, it says that they are all located in the server rack when they are not necessarily. Oh no, some of them, like if I come into here, for example, it says these things are in the server rack, but then all of these are not in specific locations. But most of these Tasmoda devices need to be put into different locations. Oh, the Superhouse sign. That is currently in the lab. So, can I go into settings, devices, where is the, in WLED, Superhouse sign, I'm going to add that and put it in the lab. Enable, yes. Okay, so if I go back to overview, I've now got lab with the Superhouse sign, and I've got server rack with this stuff in it. So what I want to do is find a way to hide a lot of the devices that I don't want, or to set up specific dashboards that have like a simplified subset of these devices. What else do I have? Oh, Node-RED dashboard. That's right. What I was doing was looking at how to integrate that, but I don't think I'm going to right now. What I'm going to do is consider the Node-RED stuff, at least as far as the dashboard is concerned, as being kind of legacy. And I'm going to work on moving this stuff into Home Assistant directly. So you can see here, for example, I've got Zigbee coordinator is the, so that Zigbee coordinator, yeah, so this is sensors coming from the Zigbee network. Tasmoda, blah, it is that particular one. Stuff coming from Zigbee. Yeah, anyway, I'm going to have to think about this. It's all kind of confusing. So I want to make this, this is kind of an opportunity to have a bit of a clean-up of my installation and try to integrate everything into Home Assistant. So a lot of that stuff's going to go away. Keith said you can click the entity on the overview and then set it to not visible. Aha, cool. Superhouse sign playlist. Yeah, so I could click the entity and then say, where is it? In here, settings and visible, no. Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to actually do that at the moment. Thanks for the tip, Keith. So I can configure things directly from here, from the overview, by going into them and then changing their settings. Okie dokie. To another PV. I need to learn Zigbee Nexus wagon loads. Dodgy asked, this is a very good question. If you move all of the Node-RED stuff into Home Assistant, can you back that up independently of Home Assistant? That is a very, very good question. And what I want to do, so when I was, earlier in the stream, when I was clicking through this and it found the Synology NAS, what it did was ask for a backup location. So let's see if I can find that again. Devices and services. Here we go. Home Assistant backup. And it is backing, it's Home Assistant backup utility. I'll go into that. And it's got no automations, no scenes, no scripts. Last attempted automatically is unknown, so it hasn't tried to do it yet. Automatic backup unknown. There's nothing in there yet, but if I edit it, backup area label enable. It asked me if I wanted to back up. I'm trying to find where the configuration is now. If I wanted to back up to the Synology NAS, and I said yes, and I selected a share, but now I can't find where that is. How do I configure this? Backup, there, Home Assistant backup. That's just going around in circles. Visit, download diagnostics, nope. I don't know. Goes around in backup, in circles. Okay, I'm in backup, and then it gets to here, and then backup, and it gets to here. That's not useful. So presumably there is some kind of backup here going on, because I told it the folder name inside the file server previously, but it doesn't seem, I don't seem to be able to configure it from here. So I don't know what's going on with that backup thing. Backup. So this is one of the things that when I have played with Home Assistant in the past, it has been, I have ended up rage quitting because of this sort of inscrutability, where the wizard will get you to set something up and then you can't ever find it again, or how to change it, or like, okay, so I've come into the backup service, it's got these entities, so it says backup, there are 5 entities, I click on it and it goes back to here. Like, what the hell? It's just going in circles. So I am now somewhere, I am in the backup section, and if I go into backup, it comes back to here, and then back into here. It's an infinite loop. So it's just dumb, unintuitive things like this that, yeah, download diagnostics, no, visit, what does that mean? Oh, set up backups, okay. Error in location, failed to list backups. Set up backups, encryption key. Look, I've just revealed the encryption key. I shouldn't be doing that on a stream. Not that I have any encrypted backups anyway, so it makes no difference. Show all backups. Yeah, it's the thing of, if you if you know under the hood, systems, settings, systems, backup. Mitchell has just been spamming the thing. Settings, system, backups, set up backups. Okay, so it got me to this location when I went through settings, devices and services, backup, and then into entities, and then visit there. That has actually taken me into a totally different part of the configuration. Yeah. Setting storage to configure your storage locations. Yeah, I did that on the setup originally. Settings, system, storage. No connected network storage. Okay, add network storage. I already did that early in the process, but now it's forgotten about it. So now I'm going to add network storage. And protocol, CIFS. Yeah, I'm not going to do this now on the stream. But when I was setting it up, it found the Synology NAS and it showed me a list of shares, and I said, I want to go onto the server share. I've got a share just called server. And it gave me an option of a folder name for storing the backups, and I hit yes, and it looked like it was all done. But now it seems to have forgotten that, or it is, all that configuration is stored somewhere else. I've got to go. Yes. So anyway, that general thing of this just not making sense is now I've just shown a location, is why I've got frustrated with Home Assistant in the past. It's like it tries to do too much for you and hide what's going on, and then it just becomes inscrutable and you can't figure out what the hell it's doing, how a thing is configured. Auto configuration does stuff, or it looks like it does stuff, and then you can't get back to it again. So yeah. But this time I am determined to push through the pain barrier of my annoyance at its user interface and get something that's actually working. But I really do have to go. So next week, next Sunday is Barbecue Sunday. Make sure you come along. And maybe by then I will even have Home Assistant running, perhaps, if I get to mess around with it during the week. And yeah, I want to keep talking, but I really do need to go because I've got to jump in my car and drive to the other side of town. And I will see you. Yeah, Donna said, load the HA docs in another tab. Yes. Yeah. Oh, Russell says, every time you do something, you need to restart Home Assistant. I hope that's not the case. Let's set up a session. We can go over HA stuff, says Mitchell. Yeah, we can do that. I'm going to just poke around and learn a bit myself anyway. And I will appeal for assistance to the experts. Because I do know several, pretty hardcore Home Assistant experts, and I have plenty of people that I could ask questions of who would be able to just answer instantly where all of this stuff is. But I'm kind of approaching this from a newbie point of view of just load it, log in, click around, start trying to set stuff up and see what happens, and see how badly I can burn myself for your amusement. All right. Thanks for coming along to this truncated live stream, and I am going to see hopefully all of you next week and some of you in person. So have an awesome week, go and build something cool, and happy Father's Day for those of you who partake in that celebration. Okay, see ya.